Okay, so today we're presenting Ozanam House. So we want to start with MGS Architects acknowledges the traditional owners of the country the traditional custodians of country throughout Australia, and recognises their continuing connection to land, waters and culture. We pay our respects to their elders past, present and future. This project is located on Wurundjeri lands of the Boon Wurrung and Woy Wurrung people. So MGS provided full architectural services for this project, which includes the interiors and selection of fittings and fixtures and furniture, of course, and also the signage and environmental graphics for the project. The Ozanam House is probably well known to all of you, but this is the new Ozanam House. There was an existing services and existing buildings on this site. The new Ozanam House Accommodation and Homeless Resource Centre is a publicly accessible building with a complex health and wellbeing brief, which is wrapped around a residential offer, providing for the long-term improvement and potential path out of a homelessness for the Vincent Care client. Vincent Care is the client, is our client, but for their clients. Sorry, slide 2. Where are we? This is the sort of the mission of Ozanam House. So the brief required us to ask what the interior design responses were possible and appropriate to meet the needs of the large and increasing homeless cohort in Melbourne, and to answer the Friedrich Ozanam's mantra. Due to the varied and often acute requirements of the clients, psychologically informed methods were adopted throughout the design process. These methods, in their most simple sense, put people and their past experiences at the centre of this process, with outcomes that improve the well-being and aid their recovery. A new building of its 11-storey plus basement, Ozanam House consolidates two past facilities, now exclusively oriented at Flemington Road. The original site went through to another street behind, but this new Ozanam House is accessed completely from one address, which is the Flemington Road address. It is opposite the Royal Park and the Children's Hospital, and unlike its dark, run-down predecessor on the same site, connects directly with its surroundings. The building acts as a beacon, opening early in the morning to offer social connection and a warm meal and perhaps a shower. The generous canopy marks the main entry, and the large areas of glass make the internal social spaces visible, establishing connection, visible for those who come by, obviously, who have often been up and about all night or have had fairly rough nights existence, establishing connection and make crossing the threshold an easy and friendly experience. Where the building meets the street, we've considered that as a liminal space, and as you can see, it's kind of part in exterior but also part interior, because there's a lot of gathering there at the very front of the building during all times of day and night. The seat built into the facade safely supports while allowing participation in the street activity. The solidity, texture and small variations of the brickwork is the beginning of an ongoing material story internally. Coming through the front doors, a visitor, and these are the main front doors, the visitor can speak to people at reception or simply sit for a while in the wider timber seats, where we can see, you can see the brick that's carried through at the reception desk from the outside, and the warm timber tone offset against the granite flooring with its large version of a brick pattern. The space is further modulated at that front counter by variation of ceiling heights, typically incorporating acoustic materials and colour. Another aspect of this material story is the need for robustness and building in discrete safety features. Glass is everywhere, and without sort of, there's monitoring equipment, there's CCTV cameras and all those sorts of things around the building, but and those areas of control are just immediately behind these counters, but obviously we wanted to do it in a way that was discreet and not and didn't say institution. Adjacent to the main entry is a café, which can also be separately accessed from the outside, from Flemington Road. Food and coffee offer casual dining options and social interaction, as well as an opportunity for caseworkers to engage on the basis of one-on-one with their clients and in a very low-key setting. The whole idea here is that it was contemporary, casual and typical of what people might want to expect. So no surprises. That's another view of the same cafe with the little hatch closed. Again, as we said before, it's connected to the street, and this connection sorry. Maybe.
Oh no, I was just going to say a quick point that we discussed earlier was that this cafe, when it was closed during periods of lockdown, was still able to serve the community because there's an external courtyard and hatch.
So it has that flexibility.
Yeah. So you're seeing it in the closed position, but there's a courtyard just beyond. Yeah.
So again, another slide of the same. We might speed this presentation up. That space faces this courtyard, which is pivotal to the organisation of the internal spaces, particularly the public ones. It provides respite in a calm green oasis, as well as helping the client orient themselves around the building. The colours visible here are the backbone of the palette we've carried throughout the project. In the dining rooms, and this is one of where you can see some of that tiling, which is one of the recurring motifs in the communal area. It is a combination of 5 colours, which in terms of us selecting this, it was important that the colour palette was consistent but varied to provide both a sense of unity of the building, but it also creates ways in which people can navigate the building. The commercial kitchen is simply a commercial kitchen, but the interesting part about that is that it provides meals not only for the residents, but it's a commercial kitchen that is designed to provide meals for a much wider range of clients.
So this is the ground floor, and what you've seen so far is just that beige area, and it's the sort of public accessible rooms. There's a lot of overlays to do with safety, staff, people by themselves accompanied, and for instance where we've got the yellow spaces, there's 2 doors that we had to build in an emergency exit to all those spaces. So there was quite a layer of security and controlled access built into the project that had to look like it wasn't there. That's the one of the clinic rooms. Well, on the other side of that beige area is some green shaded areas that indicate some residents' communal areas. This is the library. Next to it is a small gym. That's some other glimpses of the library. I'm going to skip past that. The first floor has the beginnings of the accommodation in the green area, and the pink is the staff administration area, which is quite large. This is the first floor. You come out of the lift. You've got the lounge opposite, which is the slide on the right. You can see through where that sunlight's coming from. A meeting room and the neighbourhood hallway on the left. That's one of the short-stay crisis rooms, very robust. We had to pick finishes that were going to stand up, and everything is fixed in place. Nothing can move in this room, but again, it had to look like, you know, you came into somewhere that was friendly, welcoming. A lot of layers also of comfort, thermal comfort, double glazing, underlay under the linoleum, acoustic panels on the wall, on the bulkhead. And acoustic treatment was really important because noise can be one of the particular behavioural triggers. It's so complex, this building.
I think what we wanted to really communicate was the complex program. There's, you know, daytime use, nighttime use. They have to. There's security overlay in all of these spaces, and they're quite specific spaces because they're for therapy, but as well as for communal enjoyment. So it had to, the project and the interiors had to tread this kind of fine line between a home, which is what this is, but also a place where people are gathering and so it's kind of communal, semi-communal only.
And the last thing we'll say, because I know we're stepping over time here, is that this is the first of its kind, and there was a lot of work that went into the development of a comprehensive environment to address these needs, and that was comprehensible to its users, but that respected very deeply the needs of these people. And with everything on one site, that respect is clearly manifested not only in the treatment and services they receive, but critically because they tell their story once. And that's one of the things that comes through, that people, if they have to go to lots of different places, they either have to relive trauma or just explain why they're coming there, and to only have to say it once and to feel like this is home in all sorts of ways is made it quite special. We'll leave it there.